Chapter 4704. Lu Ming's pupils constricted rapidly. Immortal's move made him extremely alarmed. He felt as though a catastrophe was about to befall him. The power of this move was a lot stronger than the previous one. He couldn't dodge it either. He could only take it head-on. Block it! Lu Ming roared. He unleashed all the power in his body and channeled it to the maximum. There were tens of thousands of cells in his body that were glowing like stars. These cells connected together to form a door. A yellow mud road appeared in the door. On the yellow mud road, a pool of blood flickered with a scarlet light. On the other side of the battle platform, the human monarch's body and the bronze box floated there quietly, motionless. But at this moment, the human monarch's body suddenly looked at Lu Ming. To be precise, he was looking at the pool of blood on the yellow mud road. Then, the human monarch's eyes revealed astonishment, doubt, and shock. But it was just a flash and no one noticed. At this moment, Lu Ming and Immortal had already clashed. Immortal's move was truly terrifying. Lu Ming's body shook violently as he clashed with it. He was sent flying backward by the powerful force. At the same time, a lot of sunlight shone on Lu Ming's body. Ding 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 sounds rang out, but they were blocked by Qiuqiu's armor. But the violent impact still passed through the armor and hit Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. At the same time, he felt that Qiuqiu's armor was shockingly hot. It burned his skin until it sizzled. "Qiuqiu, are you all right?" Lu Ming asked hurriedly. "I'm fine. It's too strong. This person's attack is too strong. If it was a little stronger, I would have been defeated." Qiuqiu replied. Lu Ming was relieved. At the same time, he was extremely shocked. Too strong. What kind of secret technique is this? How can it have such a powerful attack? Lu Ming was extremely shocked. The power of Yi Wuxia's ultimate move was much stronger than the primeval move and heaven-breaking move that he had created. It surpassed all the secret skills that Lu Ming had seen before. It was really shocking, especially that move just now. If he hadn't been wearing Qiuqiu's armor, he might have been at risk of dying. In other words, Immortal hadn't used his full strength in his battle with Lu Ming. He still had some tricks up his sleeve. The sun disappeared from the sky. The Immortal took a few deep breaths, his face pale. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Clearly, even for the Immortal, using such an ultimate move would consume an astonishing amount of energy. No wonder he hadn't used it before. The sovereign personage's physical body is already mine. No one can take it away. Immortal said indifferently. Like a bolt of lightning, he dashed towards the Renhuang body. He had to put the Renhuang body away first to avoid any unforeseen circumstances. That move just now had indeed consumed a lot of his energy. Both Lu Ming and Qiuqiu were troublesome to deal with. "Don't even think about it." Lu Ming shouted and prepared to charge toward the human king's body. However, at this moment, there was an unforeseen event. The Renhuang body, which had been motionless all this while, suddenly took a step forward and entered the bronze chest. The bronze chest closed automatically. Then, it turned into a beam of light and rushed in a certain direction. It wasn't in the direction of Immortal. Instead, it was in the direction of Lu Ming. The bronze chest was too fast. It was beyond everyone's reaction time. Before anyone could react, the bronze chest rushed into Lu Ming's glabella and disappeared. Lu Ming was stunned. Immortal was stunned. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. The Renhuang body actually entered Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Was there a mistake? Shouldn't the Renhuang body enter Immortal's body? After all, Immortal won the final match. Was there a mistake? Lu Ming, hand over the Renhuang body. Immortal reacted quickly. With a loud roar, he dashed towards Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. He was far faster than Immortal's previous speed. This is the aura of a 6th-tier divine master. No, my cultivation has also recovered. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He realized that the force that was suppressing his cultivation had disappeared. His cultivation had also recovered to the 6th-tier divine master. Boom! A huge force erupted from his body. At the same time, the war god's spear appeared in his hand. All the suppression disappeared. It seemed that the suppression had disappeared after the Renhuang body entered Lu Ming's body. Buzz. The war god's spear vibrated and swept out, colliding with Yi Immortal's attack. Both of them had recovered to the 6th-tier Divine Master, so they were still fighting at the same level. With a loud boom, both of them retreated. At the same time, the cultivation of the others had also recovered. A shocking battle broke out. A peak Divine Master against a peak Divine Master. Violent energy waves swept out in all directions. Some of the weaker cultivators didn't even dare to get close. They retreated to the sides. Kill Lu Ming. The Renhuang body is with him. Some of the Lord of Heaven from the Heavenly Palace shouted. They wanted to attack Lu Ming, but they were blocked by the experts from the Heaven Destroyer. Sword of the Celestial, Destruction of Yang. Yi Immortal used that ultimate move again. A huge sun appeared, scattering endless light. After recovering to the 6th-tier Divine Master level, Yi Immortal's power was many times stronger than before. It was terrifying, as if it could destroy everything. Lu Ming didn't hesitate. He unleashed the power of Origin in the Origin Seed and activated a trace of the War God Spear's power. Then, the War God Spear shook and spun rapidly. The void was stirred up by the War God Spear, forming a pitch-black vortex that blocked all the sunlight. Let's retreat. At the same time, Lu Ming used this force to retreat. He wanted to charge out of a gap in the metal mountain. The power of Origin could only be used once. If Yi Immortal continued to use his ultimate move, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Lu Ming, stay here. A loud roar came from the top of Lu Ming's head. A tall and burly heavenly human came crashing down like a huge mountain. He was holding a purplish gold battle axe and was hacking at Lu Ming's head. Lord of Heaven. This was an expert on the same level as the Lord of Heaven. Lu Ming didn't dare to be careless. He waved the War God's spear to defend himself. With a clang, Lu Ming continued to retreat. He felt his arm go numb and his bones almost broke. The Lord of Heaven continued to attack Lu Ming. At the same time, Yi Immortal also attacked Lu Ming, joining forces with the Lord of Heaven. One on the left and one on the right. In an instant, their attacks were about to reach. Bone Demon, Lu Ming shouted. Leave it to me. Bone Demon rushed out from between Lu Ming's eyebrows and threw 2 punches at Yi Immortal and the Lord of Heaven. Boom, boom. With 2 loud explosions, Yi Immortal and the Lord of Heaven were sent flying by Bone Demon. Chapter 4705. Go all out and kill Lu Ming. The human king's body is ours. Go all out. The heavenly palace roared and frantically rushed toward Lu Ming. At this moment, everyone had recovered their peak strength. The heavenly palace had more experts than the Heaven Destroyer, and they also had more peak Divine Master experts than the Heaven Destroyer. Especially the 4 strongest Lord of Heaven. They were really too strong. Only a few people on the Heaven Destroyer's side could fight against the strongest Lord of Heaven. They simply couldn't stop the other party. When their cultivation was suppressed to the first layer of the Divine Master realm, Tang Jun and she were able to display powerful fighting strength on the Heaven Destroyer's side. They were able to block the strongest Lord of Heaven. But now that their cultivation had recovered, the weakness of Tang Jun and she's cultivation was exposed. They simply couldn't fight against the strongest Lord of Heaven. Therefore, even though the experts of the Heaven Destroyer tried their best to block, there were still experts at the level of the Lord of Heaven constantly rushing toward Lu Ming. But at this moment, an even more astonishing change occurred. The originally smooth metal walls around him and above him began to wriggle and protrude out, forming humanoid metal puppets. These metal puppets were extremely similar to the metal puppets on the metal towers outside the metal mountain peak. These metal puppets held battle blades and rushed toward the Heaven Destroyer, the Heavenly Palace, and the people of the Quasi-Saint tribe from all directions. In an instant, at least several thousand metal puppets attacked. Kill all living creatures. Don't let any living creatures escape. These metal puppets actually knew how to roar and slashed out with their battle blades as fast as lightning. They were astonishingly fast. Some of the weaker ones were directly slashed to death by the battle blades, while others hurriedly blocked. The people of the Heaven Destroyer and the Heavenly Palace were originally engaged in a chaotic battle, but now they couldn't care less about it and hurriedly blocked the metal puppets. Similarly, many metal puppets rushed toward Lu Ming, the Yi Immortal, and the Lord of Heaven-level experts who were attacking Lu Ming. The figures of the Yi Immortal and the others were forcibly blocked. Get lost. The Yi Immortal roared and exchanged a few blows with a metal puppet, sending it flying. On Lu Ming's side, the Bone Demon attacked and sent the metal puppet flying with one move. Go, let's retreat. Lu Ming shouted loudly and rushed toward a passage. Go. Protect Lu Ming out. Retreat. Since the sovereign personage's body was already in their hands, the Heavenly Extermination Army naturally would not continue fighting. As they blocked the attacks of the metal puppets, they rushed to the tunnel at the side. Many metal puppets chased them from behind. Don't let them escape. Kill them. We must take down Lu Ming. The Yi Immortal roared and rushed toward Lu Ming and the others. The Lord of Heaven-level experts and the 9th and 8th tier divine masters also rushed toward Lu Ming. However, those with weaker cultivations couldn't even self-detonate, so they naturally couldn't chase after Lu Ming. They could only rush in another direction and try to escape from the metal mountain through another passage. Although the Yi Immortal and the others tried their best to break through, there were too many metal puppets. Even if they broke through the encirclement and chased after Lu Ming and the others, they still wouldn't be able to escape. But don't forget that there was also a group of metal puppets chasing after Lu Ming and the others. If the people from the Heavenly Palace wanted to attack Lu Ming and the others, they would have to get past these metal puppets. When the people from the Heavenly Palace got closer, some of the metal puppets chasing after Lu Ming and the others turned around and attacked the people from the Heavenly Palace. This way, it would be impossible for them to catch up to Lu Ming and the others in a short time. Lu Ming dashed into the passageway very quickly. The rest of the Heaven Exterminating Army also dashed into the passageway and headed outside. Chase. The Yi Immortal roared. He had lived for countless years and experienced countless things. He had a very good mentality. He had been very calm because everything was under his control. But now he couldn't stay calm. His face was very gloomy as he roared in his heart. He really couldn't understand. He had won the competition, so why would the human king of heaven's body fly toward Lu Ming? Could it be because Lu Ming was a human? That was the only reason he could think of. Because the original form of the human king of heaven's body was also a human, and Lu Ming was also a human. It made sense that the human king of heaven's body chose Lu Ming. The human race can't be left alive. If I knew this would happen, I would have wiped out all the humans in the universe. The Yi Immortal's heart was filled with murderous intent. At this moment, Lu Ming and the other members of the Heaven Destroyer quickly rushed out of the passage. But when they rushed out of the passage, the remaining metal puppets on the metal towers outside looked at them with cold eyes. Then they moved like lightning and waved their sabers, attacking them. Let's go! Lu Ming shouted. He waved his spear of war and exchanged blows with a metal puppet. With a loud bang, the metal puppet was sent flying by Lu Ming. But Lu Ming also felt his arm go numb. Although these metal puppets didn't have any other strange abilities, they were shockingly strong. At the same time, Guillermo also attacked and sent 2 metal puppets flying. Behind them, Lion and the others also arrived. They constantly sent the metal puppets flying and quickly rushed out. Roar! But at this moment, an earth-shaking roar rang out in the distance. These roars came from all directions of the metal mountain. There were roars coming from every direction. It was as if the sky and earth were rumbling violently. Then, one after another, huge monsters appeared before everyone's eyes. Lu Ming saw a huge snake. It was huge, even bigger than a mountain range. It slithered over. There was also a huge bird. It was completely red. When it spread its wings, it blotted out the sky. There was also a ferocious tiger. It was over 10,000 meters tall. Its roars were like thunder, and its eyes were like 2 suns. Origin Realm. These 3 primordial surviving species were all existences at Origin Realm. And this was only in the direction of Lu Ming's group. There were even more in other directions. Clearly, the commotion at the Metal Mountain had attracted the attention of the Origin Realm primordial surviving species in the distance. Lu Ming, Lion, and the others all paled. Their path had been blocked. With so many Origin Realm existences, only death would await them if they continued to charge forward. There were Origin Realm primordial surviving species in front of them, while there were a large number of metal puppets behind them. There were also experts from the Heavenly Palace. They were in dire straits. Don't let any of them escape. Kill. The metal puppets roared. Their eyes were cold as they constantly charged at Lu Ming's group. At this moment, almost all the Heaven Destroyer had charged out of the metal mountain. They gathered together. Those with weaker cultivations stayed in the center while the powerful god lords guarded the periphery, blocking the attacks of the metal puppets. Only by doing so could they minimize their losses. However, the Origin Realm primordial surviving species in the distance were getting closer and closer. More and more metal puppets continued to charge out of the metal mountain, constantly attacking them. What do we do? What do we do? Someone shouted loudly and cast his gaze toward Lion and the other strongest peak divine masters. However, Lion and the others also had extremely ugly expressions on their faces. The reason for that was because there was nothing they could do. Chapter 4706. Kill our way out. In less than a minute, the furious roars of the experts of the Heavenly Palace came from the metal mountain. A large number of experts from the Heavenly Palace also charged out of the tunnel. Immortal, Qiuxian, and the others were all there. As soon as the people of the Heavenly Palace rushed out, they also saw the Origin Realm's surviving beasts in the distance. They were all shocked and pale. There are so many Origin Realm surviving beasts. We've been surrounded. What do we do now? Several Lord of Heaven asked, panicking. Get the body of the human king first, then think of a way to break out. Immortal was still calm and gave the order. They continued to charge, knocking away the metal puppets one by one, and charged toward Lu Ming and the others. We're done for. Many people in the Heaven Destroyer were pale. This kind of situation was truly a hopeless situation. Could he still leave? Let's do it. We can't let the people of the Heavenly Palace get the body of the human king so easily. Let's do it. As long as we can hold them off for a while, they'll die when the surviving beasts arrive. Sure roared, his eyes bloodshot. Let's do it. The others roared as well. They couldn't escape. They couldn't get the body of the human king, and they couldn't let the people of the Heavenly Palace get it either. When the surviving beasts arrived, even if they died in battle, the people of the Heavenly Palace wouldn't be any better. They would die in battle. At that time, the situation in the primitive universe would return to balance. There was nothing they could do. What do we do? Lu Ming's mind raced with various ideas. He wanted to find a way to escape. However, he realized that there was nothing he could do. The difference in strength was just too great. Any method would be futile. There were Origin Realms surviving beasts in all directions. Even if they charged out of the encirclement of the Heavenly Palace and the metal puppets at all costs, they wouldn't be able to escape the attacks of the Origin Realm surviving beasts. At this moment, Lu Ming was suddenly surprised. The bronze chest that the human monarch's body was in flew into his glabella and floated in his sea of consciousness. At this moment, the bronze chest shone and actually rushed out of his sea of consciousness. The human king's physical body is about to fly away. Is it going to fly to the Immortal? Lu Ming thought unwillingly. Actually, even he couldn't understand why the human king's body would fly towards him when the Immortal had clearly emerged victorious. He had two speculations in his mind. One was that he might be a human. Secondly, the human king's body had been mistaken. It was supposed to fly towards the Immortal, but it ended up flying towards him instead. Could it be that the human king's body had made a mistake and was about to fly towards the Immortal? Although Lu Ming was unwilling, there was nothing he could do. However, it turned out that Lu Ming was overthinking things. The bronze chest did not fly towards the Immortal. Instead, it flew high into the sky and rapidly expanded until it was the size of a mountain. Then it crashed towards the metal mountain. Boom! The bronze chest crashed into the metal mountain with an earth-shattering boom. Following that, a beam of light shot out from the place where the bronze chest collided with the mountain peak. This beam of light shot straight up into the sky and into the depths of the sky. Wherever it passed, the void collapsed and was forcibly torn apart. They could see that the sky had also been torn apart. A circular tunnel had appeared, and they could even see outside. The eyes of Lu Ming and the others lit up. Charge upwards. Charge out from the top. Lu Ming and the rest roared and dashed madly toward the sky. Thousands of people gathered together and charged forward with all their might. They continuously sent the pursuing metal puppets flying. As for the bronze chest, after it crashed into the metal mountain, it turned into a beam of light and flew back towards Lu Ming. It was unimaginably fast. It flew into Lu Ming's glabella and appeared in his sea of consciousness. Don't let them escape. The people of the heavenly palace also roared as they chased after Lu Ming and the others. The strongest Lord of Heaven even took the time to attack the Heaven Destroyer. However, there were not many people from the heavenly palace who chased after them. Many of the experts from the heavenly palace had rushed out from the other tunnels of the metal mountain. At this moment, they were still some distance away from them. Therefore, there were more experts on the Heaven Destroyer's side. They joined forces and blocked the attacks from the heavenly palace. While blocking the attacks, they also rushed towards the sky. Everyone present was at the Divine Master realm. Their speed was extremely fast. Soon they would reach the gap in the sky. We will also leave from the top. In other directions of the metal mountain, the people from the Quasi-Saint tribe naturally would not miss such an opportunity. They also rushed towards the sky. In addition, the other experts from the heavenly palace also rushed towards the sky. Outside the world of light, the Origin Realm experts of the Heaven Destroyer and the Origin Realm experts of the heavenly palace were in a standoff. Their attention was completely focused on the world of light. They were ready to provide support at any time. Suddenly, the world of light shook. A beam of light rushed out from inside. It tore through the darkness and space, forcefully creating a tunnel. They could clearly hear the battle cries coming from inside. They were getting closer and closer. They are coming out from this gap. The Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace and the Heaven Destroyer immediately became nervous. Their eyes were fixed on the gap. They were guessing which side had obtained the body of the human king. Or perhaps, the body of the human king was still scattered and one side had obtained a little? After a while, swoosh, 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 a large group of figures rushed out from the gap. It's them. The people of the Heaven Destroyer. The experts of the Heavenly Palace were stunned. Then they burst out with killing intent. Some of the Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace directly attacked. They launched a terrifying attack, wanting to kill Lu Ming and the others. However, the Origin Realm experts of the Heaven Destroyer had already paid full attention. As soon as the Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace attacked, they immediately attacked as well. They blocked the attacks of the Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace. Lu Ming, Lion, come over here quickly. Fei Huang's voice rang out. Lu Ming and the others quickly flew towards Fei Huang and the others. The Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace did not chase after them. This was because they did not know that the body of the human king had fallen into Lu Ming's hands. Very soon, the thousands of people of the Heaven Destroyer all flew out from the gap. There are only about 4,000 people left. The hearts of the Origin Realm experts of the Heaven Destroyer trembled. Their eyes were filled with sorrow. About 5,000 divine masters went in. When they came out, only about 4,000 were left. About 1,000 of them would forever remain in the world of light. This was a huge loss. I hope we can gain something. The Origin Realm experts of the Heaven Destroyer thought to themselves. After the people of the Heaven Destroyer all flew out, the people of the Heavenly Palace also flew out from the gap. Flying at the front were the 4 strongest people, the Lord of Heaven, Yi Immortal, Yi Qiuxian, and the others. The body of the human king is all in Lu Ming's hands. All of you, attack and kill Lu Ming. Take the body of the human king. Yi Immortal roared as soon as he flew out. Chapter 4707. Hearing Yi Immortal's roar, whether it was the Heavenly Palace, Heaven Destroyer, or the Origin Realm experts of the Quasi-Saint tribe, they were all stunned. Because this was truly beyond everyone's expectations. All the bodies of the human king were in one person's body, and this person was actually Lu Ming. Attack! Almost instantly, the heavenly palace's origin realm reacted. It was filled with astonishing killing intent, and a terrifying power erupted. The violent energy stirred the universe and attacked Lu Ming. However, the Heaven Destroyer's origin realm's reaction was not slow at all. They knew that after Lu Ming had obtained all the bodies of the human king, their first reaction was to protect Lu Ming. They would protect Lu Ming even if they had to die. Protecting Lu Ming was equivalent to protecting the bodies of the human king. It was equivalent to protecting their hope of annihilating the heavenly palace in the future. Therefore, when the heavenly palace's origin realm experts attacked, the Heaven Destroyer's origin realm experts also attacked instantly. Dozens of attacks whizzed out and collided with the heavenly palace's origin realm's attack, erupting into a shocking explosion. Whether it was the Heaven Destroyer or the heavenly palace, each side had dozens of origin realm experts. With so many origin realm experts attacking together, the scene was incomparably terrifying. The void was torn apart and turned into chaotic nothingness. The terrifying energy constantly surged and finally cancelled each other out. In the end, the Heavenly Palace's origin realm experts' attacks were all blocked. As for Lu Ming and the rest, they were extremely fast and successfully dashed behind Fei Huang and the rest. You, Heaven Destroyer, are not qualified to obtain the human king's body. No matter who you are, anyone who dares to lay their hands on the human king's body must die. Kill. The Heavenly Palace's origin realm roared furiously and attacked madly. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Kill them all. The third demon sword shouted. Stop them. Tang Jian roared. Astral Fire Origin Venerate, Lu Min Origin Venerate, and so on. The Origin Venerates of Heaven Destroyer from the 1,000-year battlefield had all arrived. In addition, many Origin Venerates from other places had also arrived. In total, there were more than 30 people. They met the Heavenly Palace's origin head-on and began to fight fiercely. In an instant, a shocking battle broke out. As for Lu Ming and the other Divine Masters, they were constantly retreating into the distance. A battle between reciprocity experts was just too terrifying. It was not something that Divine Masters could interfere with. Even if they were close, it would be extremely dangerous, so they needed to maintain their distance. The Heavenly Palace's Master of God was the same. At this moment, the Divine Masters of the Heavenly Palace and the Quasi-Sage tribe also flew out of the gap. The gap began to shrink slowly. Young Master, did the sovereign personage's physical body really fall into Lu Ming's hands? An origin realm old man from the Quasi-Saint tribe asked Song Qiong softly. That's right, it has indeed fallen into Lu Ming's hands. Song Qiong nodded. It actually fell into Lu Ming's hands. Should we take action? The old man from the Quasi-Saint tribe asked. No, we'll just watch. If we take action and defeat the Heaven Destroyer, then the Heavenly Palace will target us. We won't take action and let them fight until both sides are injured. Anyway, it's better for the sovereign personage's physical body to fall into the hands of the Heaven Destroyer than it to fall into the hands of the Heavenly Palace. Song Qiong Dao. The Quasi-Saint tribe did not intervene. Instead, they retreated far away and watched from afar. The battle between origin venerates was becoming more and more intense. Swoosh! Suddenly, a purple ray of light flashed, as if it had broken through the entire void, and charged towards Lu Ming. This is the Master of the Heavenly Palace. Lu Ming's heart suddenly trembled. The person who took action was the Master of the Heavenly Palace of Crepe Myrtle. The attack of the Heavenly Palace's master was too terrifying. Whether it was Lu Ming, Lion, or the others, they felt that the surrounding void had frozen. Even time seemed to have frozen. They couldn't move at all. Even their breathing seemed to have stopped. They couldn't resist. The gap was too big. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. It was Fei Huang. With a wave of Fei Huang's hand, several tens of black beads flew out. Then they exploded with a bang. After each black bead exploded, dozens of figures flew out. They were all Fei Huang's figures. At least 500 Fei Huang's figures flew out of the dozens of black beads. These were all soul incarnations. So many soul incarnations struck out at the same time. Hundreds of heavenly demon palm prints merged together, forming an incomparably huge palm print that blasted towards the master of the heavenly palace of crepe myrtle. Boom! The palm print that Fei Huang struck out collided with the attack of the master of the heavenly palace of crepe myrtle. The dazzling light flooded the surrounding void. The space was torn apart and turned into chaos. However, the stalemate only lasted for a few breaths. The palm print that Fei Huang struck out trembled violently. Finally, with a bang, it exploded and turned into energy that dissipated. The terrifying power continued to rush towards Fei Huang. Fei Huang's expression changed slightly. Hundreds of figures gathered together and became one figure. She stretched out a jade-like hand and once again collided with the attack of the master of the heavenly palace of crepe myrtle. As a result, Fei Huang's body was pushed back again and again. Her originally solid body kept flickering and the light dimmed a lot. Fei Huang, if your real body was here, I would be a little afraid of you. Unfortunately, your real body is not here at all. There are only a few hundred demon incarnations. How can you stop me? The master of the heavenly palace of crepe myrtle sneered. The power of the origin circulated, and his body was shrouded in purple light. Purple gold heavenly seal. The master of the heavenly palace of crepe myrtle shouted softly. His hands pressed out continuously. In the sky, a purple gold seal formed and pressed down on Fei Huang. Wherever it passed, the void turned into chaos. Its power was unimaginably terrifying. Strong, too strong. This kind of power surpassed any expert that Lu Ming had encountered. It was much stronger than Tang Jian. Lu Ming felt that just a trace of energy was enough to turn him into ashes. There would be no accidents. Boundless sky demon sword. Fei Huang shouted. A powerful aura connected heaven and earth. A pitch-black demonic sword appeared, piercing through the clouds and colliding with the purple gold heavenly seal. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion erupted. Violent energy swept out in all directions. Then, Fei Huang's boundless sky demon sword shook violently. The purple energy swept down, causing Fei Huang to continue to retreat. Her face was pale, and the light on her body dimmed. Just as Celestial Lord Crepe Myrtle had said, Fei Huang's true body wasn't here. There were only a few hundred clones, and they were no match for Celestial Lord Crepe Myrtle. Heaven Lord Ziwei had already reached the peak of reciprocity. There were very few people in reciprocity who could rival him. Fei Huang, today, I will destroy your 10,000 demon incarnations. Another day, I will destroy your real body. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle roared, and the purple gold heaven seal shone even brighter. Dazzling purple light enveloped half the sky. If they were in the desolate universe, the purple light would be able to envelop the entire galaxy. Fei Huang did her best to resist, but she was still no match for him. She retreated as she fought. More importantly, she still had to protect Lu Ming and the others. If she was distracted, she would be even less of a match for Heaven Master Ziwei. Chapter 4708. How can I help Senior Fei Huang? Lu Ming's mind spun rapidly. If this continued, Fei Huang would be defeated very soon. He wanted to do something. However, with his cultivation, he could not interfere at all. The difference was too great. If he was hit by a strand of energy, only death would await him. Right, the human king's body. Suddenly, Lu Ming thought of the human king's body, and his eyes lit up. Back then, he only had the right arm of the human king, but he could unleash the strength of an ordinary origin realm expert. Now that the 4 limbs, head, and torso of the human king were gathered together, would he be able to erupt with an even greater strength? The bronze chest said that if he gathered all the bodies of the human king, he would be invincible in the universe. His consciousness immediately entered his sea of consciousness. In his sea of consciousness, he opened the bronze chest. The human king's body lay quietly in the chest. Communicate, activate. Lu Ming immediately took action. He wanted to communicate with the human king's body and activate the power of the human king's body. However, there was no movement at all. The human king's body still lay in the bronze chest, motionless. There was still no movement. Lu Ming tried a few more times, but the result was the same. You don't have to try. It's useless. With your cultivation, it's impossible to activate the power of the human king's body. At this moment, the bronze chest shone, and a sentence appeared on it. Can't activate the power of the human king's body? Then I can activate the arm of the human king before? Lu Ming asked in return. You said it yourself. That was just an arm of the human king. The power was scattered and weak, so you could activate a strand of power. However, now that the human king's body has almost merged, the power is very strong. With your strength, you can't activate it at all. The difference is too great. The bronze chest continued to answer. Nestle, why didn't you say so earlier? If that's the case, it'll be even more useless if I get more of the human king's body. You said before that if I get the complete human king's body, I'll be able to conquer the universe and flatten the heavenly palace. If I can't even activate the power, how can I flatten it? Lu Ming said unhappily. That's because you're still missing a core. The human king's heart is the true core of the human king's body. It is also the source of power. Once you obtain the human king's heart, the human king's body will become one. You don't even need to activate it. You only need to control the human king's body and you can easily activate all the power of the human king's body. Flattening the heavenly palace will be a piece of cake. The bronze box said again. I see. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His eyes flickered as he stared at the bronze chest and asked, Who are you? There are 6 bronze chests in total. Every bronze chest should have its own spiritual intelligence. Which chest do you belong to? Now that the 6 chests have fused, the spiritual intelligence will naturally fuse as well. A sentence appeared on the bronze box, and then it didn't say anything else. At this moment, Fei Huang was in imminent danger. Fei Huang, you can't stop me. The Heavenly Lord Crepe Myrtle roared. Then I'll block you. At this moment, a clear and cold voice sounded. It was a woman's voice. Before she could finish speaking, the void split open on its own. A sword light flashed out and slashed at Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle. Its speed and power had reached an unimaginable level. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle's pupils constricted. Not daring to be careless, he retreated and thrust out a palm. A purple gold palm print blasted out and collided with the sword light. His purple gold heavenly seal could transform into a large seal or a palm print. It could change at will. With a boom, the sword light was blocked, but the purple gold palm print also shattered. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle hurriedly retreated. A figure stepped out of the void that had split open. It was a woman wearing a white swordsman's robe that perfectly outlined her graceful figure. She carried a long sword on her back, and her long hair was combed into a ponytail. She was full of heroic spirit. It's senior sister First Sky Sword. Upon seeing this woman, Tang Jun exclaimed in excitement. So it's the sword ancestor's eldest disciple, First Sky Sword. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was very surprised. He did not expect First Sky Sword to be a woman. However, First Sky Sword's appearance was a little strange. Her long hair was golden, and the texture of her hair looked very similar to the hair of the heavenly human tribe. It's you, traitor! Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle shouted when he saw this woman. Humph! I'm no longer a member of the heavenly human tribe. Sooner or later, I'll sever the half of the heavenly human tribe bloodline in me. First Sky Sword said coldly. As she spoke, she stepped forward and walked toward Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle. Every step she took crossed hundreds of millions of miles. At the same time, the aura on her body became stronger and stronger. The long sword on her back vibrated and buzzed endlessly, as if it would fly out at any moment and unleash a shocking attack. Aunt Fei Huang, leave this to me. First Sky Sword Dao. As soon as she finished speaking, the long sword on her back was unsheathed with a clang. It turned into a shocking sword light that was hundreds of millions of miles long and slashed at Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle. Purple gold heavenly seal. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle roared. His glabella shone, and a real seal flew out. This was an source-grade weapon, and a top-grade one at that. The purple gold seal flew into the sky and spun rapidly. It burst out with countless rays of divine light and attacked First Sky Sword. However, First Sky Sword's sword light was too sharp. Wherever it passed, the purple divine light would shatter. Clang. In the end, the sword light slashed the purple gold seal, and a deafening explosion erupted. Terrifying energy swept in all directions. Some of the energy landed on the continent of the thousand-year battlefield, and the continent of the thousand-year battlefield exploded continuously, creating huge craters. Many of the powerful poisonous insects on it were directly killed. Then, the two figures floated back. "You traitor, your strength has reached such a level. If I had known, I would have eliminated you completely back then." Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle said coldly. His eyes were extremely cold and filled with deep shock. He did not expect First Sky Sword's strength to reach such a level. He was not weaker than him at all. "It's too late to regret now. You don't have a chance. Sooner or later, I will flatten the heavenly human tribe." First Sky Sword roared, and sword light burst out. The sky was filled with sword chi as it attacked Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle was fearless. He fought with First Sky Sword. For a moment, the two of them fought fiercely, and it was difficult to determine the victor. "Is First Sky Sword really a heavenly human tribe member?" In the crowd, Lu Ming asked Tang Jun yes. Tang Jun nodded and continued, "Not entirely. First senior sister is a mixed blood. Her mother is from the heavenly human tribe, and her father is from the human tribe. However, the heavenly human tribe values bloodlines very much. They definitely won't allow the heavenly human tribe to marry other races. They think that it's blasphemy against the noble bloodline of the heavenly human tribe. Therefore, after the incident, First Senior Sister's mother, her father, and the other clansmen were all killed by the heavenly human tribe." Chapter 4709. So that's how it is. Lu Ming finally understood. No wonder the first heavenly sword looked so similar to the heavenly human tribe. It turned out that he had half of the heavenly human tribe's bloodline in him. At the same time, the first heavenly sword's experience also made him sigh. Later on, my father saved the first senior sister and took her in as his disciple. The first senior sister displayed a rare talent. Coupled with her hard work in cultivation, her strength has always been the highest among my father's descendants. However, I didn't expect that after not seeing her for so many years, her strength would be comparable to the Heavenly Lord. Tang Jun continued. Lu Ming did not speak. He thought of more things in his heart. The first heavenly sword strength was comparable to the Heavenly Lord, and the taboo sword ancestor Tang Feng's strength was definitely above the first heavenly sword. However, he still could not destroy the heavenly palace. Didn't that mean that the heavenly palace lord was not the strongest combat power of the heavenly human tribe? The first heavenly sword and heavenly lord Ziwei's battle was incomparably intense. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 100 moves, but the victor was still undecided. Boom! Suddenly, a shocking explosion erupted in the void far away. The void turned into chaos, and the fluctuations caused were no less than the first heavenly sword and heavenly lord Ziwei's. Then, there were a few more explosions and huge cracks were torn in the void. Through the cracks, one could see two figures fiercely fighting. One of the figures was an old man in a gray robe. The other figure was a burly man from the heavenly human tribe. He was incomparably majestic, and his every move was filled with destructive power that could destroy the universe. That was the lord of the Hongmeng Heavenly Palace. Before entering the world of rings, the 4 heavenly palace lords were all present. Fei Huang had secretly introduced them to Lu Ming, so Lu Ming recognized him at a glance. That old man was actually able to fight evenly with the lord of the Hongmeng Heavenly Sword. This really shocked Lu Ming. That senior was once a law king of the primordial divine court, known as Law King Chen. Tang Jun explained. So he's from the primordial divine court. Lu Ming was even more shocked. Back then, the ancient divine court was indeed an existence that could wrestle with the heavenly palace. He was only a Dharmaraja, but he could actually fight an intense battle with the master of the heavenly palace. How many law emperors were there in the grand ancient divine court? Shakyamuni Chenkuan, back when the grand ancient divine court was destroyed, you were lucky enough to survive. Instead of hiding like a coward, you actually dared to go against the heavenly human tribe again and again. Today, I will completely destroy you. The Grand Mist Heaven Master roared. His fists were equipped with a pair of top-notch origin-grade divine weapons. He punched out with both fists, sending out boundless fist force. However, Dharmaraja Qianquan wasn't afraid at all. He laughed and said, You're still far from being able to kill me. Your previous heavenly master couldn't kill me. Dharmaraja Qianquan also launched a powerful attack to block the Hongmeng Heaven Lord. The two of them were obviously on the same level, and it was difficult to determine the victor. Suddenly, the void above Lu Ming and the others exploded. A huge hand grabbed towards Lu Ming and the others. The huge hand covered the sky and the sun, covering a radius of 100 million miles. It enveloped Lu Ming and the others, wanting to capture them. This time, Fei Huang didn't attack. This was because a figure had appeared silently beside Fei Huang. It was a middle-aged man with a burly body, wearing a set of black armor. Strangely, he was sitting on a round ball. This is the dragon race's mother planet. Its senior Ao Qian. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He recognized the burly man in black armor at first glance. He was the world-destroying black dragon, Ao Qian, the top expert of the dragon race. The round ball he was sitting on was obviously the dragon race's mother planet. The incomparably huge dragon race's mother planet had shrunk to the size of a water tank, and Ao Qian was sitting on it. It was really mysterious. Ao Qian roared and his body shone. Majestic energy turned into a black dragon and rushed out. The dragon claw continuously tore the huge hand in the sky apart. A figure appeared in the sky. This figure was wearing a white robe. His long robe fluttered in the air, and he was filled with endless majesty. It was the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master. Ao Qian, have you recovered your cultivation? When the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master saw Ao Qian, his eyes were filled with shock. Even if I haven't fully recovered, it's more than enough to deal with you. Ao Qian smiled faintly. Ao Qian, there's no need to be mysterious. You were so badly injured back then and almost died. How could you have fully recovered? I don't believe it. Let me see how much of your strength you've recovered. The Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master snorted and attacked directly. He made a grabbing motion with his hand, and a huge stone plate appeared in front of him. The stone plate looked very ancient and was filled with the marks of time. However, under the control of the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master, the stone plate seemed to have recovered. It emitted endless light and countless runes spread out, intertwining and forming a huge heavenly human figure. These heavenly human figures were all formed by runes, but the aura they emitted was incomparably terrifying. Hero's Spirit Stone Plate? Legend has it that it's the spirit of countless experts in the history of the heavenly human tribe. I'd like to see how powerful it is. Ao Qian sneered and roared. His figure left the dragon tribe's mother planet and soared into the sky. As he rushed out, a long spear appeared in his hand. The long spear vibrated and stabbed out. Immediately, a deafening dragon roar resounded between heaven and earth. It was as if tens of thousands of divine dragons were roaring at once, and their power was shocking. Tens of thousands of divine dragons flew out from Ao Qian's long spear and fought with the heavenly human figures. Boom! Boom! The world was in an uproar, and tens of thousands of collisions erupted continuously. In the next moment, Ao Qian and the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master's original body exchanged blows. Both of them retreated, but they were evenly matched. Your combat strength. The Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master looked at Ao Qian in shock. In the battle back then, Ao Qian's injuries were obviously very serious. When the Dragon Tribe's mother planet had just recovered, Ao Qian's combat strength was far from what it was now. How many years had it been since then? How could Ao Qian's combat strength have recovered to such a high level? Could it be that the Heaven Destroyer had obtained an incredible treasure in the universe ruins that allowed Ao Qian's injuries to recover faster? That was the only possibility. As I said, even if my combat strength hasn't fully recovered, it's more than enough to deal with you. If I'm at my peak, I can kill someone like you in one move. Ao Qian roared and charged toward the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace Master with the dragon spear in his hand. But at this moment, not far away from Lu Ming and the others, another figure appeared. Heavenly Palace Master of Illusion. Lu Ming's pupils constricted. The 4 Heavenly Palace Masters were all here. However, the Heavenly Palace Master of Illusion did not attack Lu Ming and the others. Instead, he looked at the void in the distance. Who is it? You've been targeting me since the beginning. Come out, why hide? The Heavenly Palace Master of the Illusion Heavenly Palace said coldly. Hee, little guy, in terms of age, I'm your senior. Can't you treat your senior better? A cold voice sounded, as if a cold wind blew from the 9 nether purgatory, making people shudder involuntarily. Chapter 47:10. After the cold voice sounded, ripples appeared in the void, and a figure appeared silently. It was an old man who looked very old. He was so thin that he was only skin and bones. He was wearing a big black robe, and his body was surrounded by black chi. He looked very sinister. Dark Sky Religion Master, it's you. You're not dead. The illusory Lord of Heaven was shocked when he saw the Dark Sky Religion Master, and his voice became louder. This old man is lucky to be alive. After so many years, this old man's cultivation has returned to its peak. It's time to settle the score with you. The Dark Sky Religion Master said sinisterly. Suddenly, he turned into a cloud of black smoke and dissipated. Immediately, the area was completely shrouded by the black smoke. The black smoke continued to expand and spread toward the illusory Lord. I can destroy your Dark Sky Religion in the past. I can also destroy you today. The illusory Lord snorted coldly. An invisible energy spread out from her body and collided with the black smoke, creating a sizzling sound. The 2 of them exchanged blows. It seemed normal, but it was extremely dangerous. Dark Sky Religion, that great religion from the distant past? Lu Ming whispered. He had seen an introduction in the ancient books. A long time ago, a powerful religion appeared in the primitive universe. It was called the Dark Sky Religion. At its peak, the Dark Sky Religion was very powerful. It occupied a part of the universe and became an overlord. Its strength was not weaker than the top 10 races at that time. However, it was destroyed in the end. It was said that the Dark Sky Religion was annihilated by the Heavenly Palace. The Dark Sky Religion Master also died in the hands of a Heavenly Palace Lord. However, no one expected that the Dark Sky Religion Master was still alive and had joined the Heaven Destroyer. At the same time, Lu Ming was also amazed. The strength of the Sky Exterminating Troop was truly unfathomable. They had gathered all the enemies of the celestial palaces throughout history. They had so many experts that even the lords of the 4 celestial palaces were blocked. Everyone listen up. Enter the dragon race's mother planet. We will leave together later. Fei Huang's voice sounded in the ears of Lu Ming and the others. Let's go. Lu Ming, Tang Jun, and the others no longer hesitated and rushed towards the Dragon Clan's mother planet. The home planet of the Dragon Clan was only the size of a water tank. When Lu Ming and the others approached the home planet of the Dragon Clan, their bodies quickly shrank. In the end, they flew into the home planet of the Dragon Clan and disappeared. Soon, the 4,000 or so godlords of the Heaven Destroyer entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Of course, this included everyone from the 1000 Autumn battlefield. The Heaven Destroyer was no longer going to be a part of the 1000-year battlefield. After everyone entered the mother planet of the Dragon Clan, Ao Qian flew back and continued to sit on the mother planet of the Dragon Clan. Don't even think about leaving. Heavenly Lord Shinji charged over. Who wants to leave? Let's fight again. Ao Qian stood on the Dragon Race Mother Star, as though he was one with the Dragon Race Mother Star. The power of the Dragon Race Mother Star flowed into his body continuously. With a thrust of his spear, a shocking spear light burst forth, blocking Heaven Lord Shinji. At this moment, the battle had reached its climax. But overall, the 2 sides were in a stalemate, and it was difficult to determine the victor. In terms of the number of Origin Realm experts, the Heaven Destroyer's side had fewer, but it was obvious that the Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts were stronger. Despite being outnumbered, they were not at a disadvantage at all. And at this moment, the Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts began to retreat as they fought, slowly gathering together. They want to retreat. Stop them. Ye Immortal shouted. The Heavenly Palace's Origin Realm experts charged madly, trying to keep the Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts. However, the Heavenly Palace experts did not have the upper hand in terms of strength, so they could not really stop the Heaven Destroyer's retreat. Soon, dozens of Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts gathered together and rapidly retreated in one direction. Buzz. Suddenly, the void there distorted rapidly, and then a huge wormhole appeared. Around the wormhole were several Origin Realm experts of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan. The Origin Realm experts of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan did not participate in the battle earlier because they had been secretly preparing to open the wormhole. Fei Huang, take the Dragon Clan's mother planet and retreat first. Ao Qian said, and the Dragon Clan's mother planet flew toward Fei Huang. Fei Huang reached out her hand, and the Dragon Clan's mother planet continued to shrink until it was the size of a bead in her hand. Fei Huang did not hesitate at all. She turned around and took a step forward, charging into the wormhole. Damn it! Don't let Lu Ming escape. The Heavenly Palace's Origin Realm experts roared. They wanted to stop her, but it was useless. It was too late. They could only watch Fei Huang's figure disappear into the wormhole. You guys retreat quickly too. Leave this to us. Ao Qian said to Tang Jian and the other Origin Realm experts. Tang Jian, the third demon sword, and the others kept retreating until they were near the wormhole. Ao Qian, the first heavenly sword, Shakyamuni Chenkuan, and the Dark Sky Sect's master also shrank the area and slowly approached the wormhole. As the four of them approached, they vaguely formed a barrier. The other Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace were blocked outside the barrier, allowing Tang Jian and the others to find a gap. Let's go! Tang Jian and the other Origin Realm experts flashed and entered the wormhole. They followed the wormhole and quickly headed toward the Heaven Destroyer's base. After these Origin Realm experts left, the Space-Time Spirit Mouse's Origin Realm experts also entered the wormhole. Then, the wormhole collapsed and quickly disappeared. In this void, only Ao Qian, the first heavenly sword, Shakyamuni Chenkuan, and the Dark Sky Sect's master were left. The four of them were responsible for bringing up the rear. Without them, it would be difficult for the others to escape. The four of them were strong enough. Although the Heavenly Masters and the other Origin Realm experts launched a frenzied attack, they were all blocked by the four of them. Retreat! Ao Qian shouted when he saw that the people of the Heaven Destroyer had retreated. The four experts' figures flickered, and the void collapsed as they fled into the distance. Although the experts of the Heavenly Palace tried their best to stop them, it was difficult for them to stop the four experts. Ao Qian, the first heavenly sword, Shakyamuni Chenkuan, and the Dark Sky Sect's master were each as strong as a heavenly master. The other Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace were much weaker than them. If they wanted to escape, it would be difficult for them to stop them. There's no need to chase. The Heavenly Palace's Origin Realm experts wanted to chase after them, but they were stopped by a figure. It was Ye Immortal. Ye Immortal's face was gloomy as he looked into the distance. His eyes flickered, and no one knew what he was thinking. Young Master Immortal, I'm sorry. They escaped. Heaven Lord Crepe Myrtle appeared beside Ye Immortal and bowed his head. He was a little nervous, afraid that the strongest patriarch in the history of the heavenly human tribe would blame him. This time, it's not your fault. I miscalculated and underestimated that Lu Ming. Ye Immortal spoke, his voice cold. This time, he had underestimated Lu Ming. He had not expected that the human king body would fall into Lu Ming's hands. At the same time, the Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts had made ample preparations. So when Lu Ming came out with the human king body, the Heaven Destroyer's Origin Realm experts methodically blocked the Heavenly Palace's Origin Realm experts. The experts of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse race had clearly been on the move and had been opening a wormhole. Otherwise, they would not have been able to open a wormhole so quickly. He had been too confident and miscalculated. Chapter 47:11. Young Master Immortal, should we gather our men and attack the traitors' encampment and destroy them in one fell swoop? Master Hongmeng asked. Are you confident? Ye Immortal asked coldly. Master Hongmeng fell silent. If he was confident, he would have destroyed the Heaven Destroyer a long time ago. Why would he wait until now? The traders have retreated to their base and have the terrain advantage. With our current strength, we can't do anything to them even if we attack them. Yi Immortal said. Then what should we do? Master Ziwei asked. Let's go and see how the demon ancestor insect is doing. Yi Immortal turned around and left. The four heavenly lords' eyes lit up as they followed Yi Immortal. The other experts of the heavenly palace also retreated, leaving only a portion of them to occupy the 1,000-year battlefield and continue digging for treasures. There was a secret place in the ruins of the universe. This place was guarded by the elites of the four great celestial palaces all year round. This place was very well hidden. The surrounding void was shrouded in layers of array formations, concealing the entire continent within the void. Yi Immortal and the four heavenly lords descended and entered the core area. Greetings, Elder. Greetings, heavenly lords. An elder from the heavenly human race bowed to Yi Immortal and the four heavenly lords. This elder from the heavenly human race had a very high cultivation. He was a reciprocity realm existence. How is the demon ancestor insect's cultivation? Yi Immortal asked directly. Ancestor, you've come at the right time. We've made some progress and we're about to ask for your instructions. The elder from the heavenly human race clapped his hands, and several tall and burly figures walked out of a passage in the hall. These figures were all abyss devils. Moreover, they were all divine lord demons. These demons stood behind the heavenly human tribe elder with wooden expressions, their faces expressionless. Success? Yi Immortal and the four heavenly lords' eyes lit up. The demonic ancestral insect has undergone many transformations and evolutions. Its initial success can be considered successful. These evil demon masters have been corroded by the demonic ancestral insect. After struggling for 100 years, they are finally controlled by the demonic ancestral insect and are completely under our control. However, this is only a preliminary success. The demonic ancestral insect has yet to reach its perfect form. The heavenly human race elder said. How long will it take to reach the perfect form? Yi Immortal asked. It will take at least 1,000,000 years, and at most a stellar year. I will definitely succeed. The heavenly human elder had a confident look on his face. We can't wait that long. We have to take action immediately and send the devil ancestral insect into the dark universe to deal with the evil demons, Yi Immortal said. It could be as short as 1,000,000 years, or as long as a stellar year. Normally, this wasn't a long time, and he could afford to wait. But not now. The human king's limbs, head, and torso had all fallen into the hands of the Heaven Destroyer. As long as the Heaven Destroyer obtained the human king's heart, the heavenly palace would be finished. Who knew if the Heaven Destroyer would find the human king's heart in more than 1,000,000 years? He couldn't afford to wait that long. Old ancestor, if we act now, I'm afraid there might be variables. The heavenly human elder said. Can the demonic ancestral insect affect the evil demon's origin? Yi Immortal asked. Of course. As time goes by, even the evil demon's origin will be controlled by the demonic ancestral insect. The demonic ancestral insect was developed from the corpses of the evil demon's ancestors. The evil demon's origin won't be able to withstand it. The heavenly human elder said. That's enough. It doesn't matter even if we can't completely control the evil demon's origin. We just need to stop them from attacking for a while. At that time, we can mobilize all our forces to destroy the rebels. Let's begin. Yi Immortal ordered. Instead of cutting through gold and cutting through iron, there was no room for doubt. Yes. The heavenly human elder and the four heavenly lords accepted the order in unison. On the other side, Lu Ming and the others returned to the Heaven Destroyer's base through the wormhole. After returning to the Heaven Destroyer's base, Fei Huang released everyone from the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Not long after, Tang Jian, the third demon sword, and the other origin realm existences also returned. After a while, Ao Qian, the first heavenly sword, Dharmaraja Qiankuan, and the dark sky sect's master all returned. Everyone was overjoyed. This trip could be said to be a complete success. Although they had lost almost 1,000 divine lords, they had obtained the human king's body. It was all worth it. Then, everyone looked at Lu Ming. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. This included the 4 peerless experts who could fight against the heavenly lords. Lu Ming, do you really have the human king's body? Take it out and let us see. Fei Huang said. Her eyes were filled with anticipation. Lu Ming nodded. With a thought, the bronze box in his sea of consciousness flew out and landed on the ground. Lu Ming waved his hand. A wave of energy flew out and opened the bronze box. Inside was a human king's body that seemed to be in perfect condition, lying quietly in the box. Everyone's eyes lit up. Their breathing became heavy. Even the origin realm existences were no exception. This was the human king's body. It was said that once controlled, it could cut through the ages and flatten everything. It possessed unimaginable power. It was difficult for them not to be excited. Lu Ming, can you control the human king's body? Fei Huang asked. I can't. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. You can't? Many people were stunned. How could this be? I tried before. The bronze box warned me that the human king's 4 limbs, head, and torso were fused together. The power inside is too great. It's impossible to activate the power inside. Only by finding the human king's heart and making the body complete can we use the original power of the human king's body. Lu Ming explained. So it's like that. Many people were disappointed. In other words, before they obtained the human king's heart, the human king's body was useless. Senior Fei Huang, perhaps you can try. My cultivation is too low. Lu Ming said. Okay, I'll try. Fei Huang nodded. She came near the human king's body and circulated her forbidden energy into it. But after a while, the human king's body did not react at all. Fei Huang tried again, but there was still no reaction. Unfortunately, my true body is not here. Right now, I'm only in my myriad demon incarnation. I can't use my full strength and can't activate the power of the human king's body. Fei Huang shook her head and sighed. Let me try. A clear voice rang out. The one who spoke was the first sky sword. The first sky sword was a peerless beauty. In terms of temperament and appearance, she was not inferior to Fei Huang. Because she had half the bloodline of the celestial race, she had a unique temperament. She came to the human king's body and injected her energy. To be able to reach the first sky sword's strength, the power she controlled was naturally not to be underestimated. Unfortunately, she still could not activate the power of the human king's body. Then, Ao Qian, Shakyamuni Chenkuan, and the Dark Sky Church's leader went up to try one by one. It was useless. The human king's body did not react. This made everyone sigh. Chapter 47:12. Everyone sighed. They had clearly obtained the 4 limbs, head, and torso of the human king's body, but they couldn't use them. It was really annoying. The human king of the previous era was extremely powerful. He is no longer someone we can compare to. The body he left behind contains too much power. When I tried it earlier, I felt that the power inside was as unfathomable as the vast ocean. It seems that only by obtaining the human king's heart and perfecting the human king's body will we be able to activate the power of the human king's body. Fei Huang said, now that the human king's body has fallen into our hands, the heavenly palace will definitely not let this go. They will probably go crazy and gather their forces to deal with us. We must be on our guard. First Sky Sword Dao. Sky Sword, you're right. If the 4 great sky palaces come out in full force, I'm afraid we won't be able to withstand the attacks of the sky palaces alone. Therefore, we have to combine the 3 sky palaces into one and gather all our strength to withstand the attacks of the sky palaces. Fei Huang said. Everyone nodded. That was the only way now. Who knows when the heavenly palace will attack, so we must immediately prepare. World Turtle Clan and the others who are proficient in formations, I will have to trouble you to set up and perfect the formations around the base. Fei Huang looked at the origin realm experts of the World Turtle Clan. There were layers of formations around the base, but just in case, they still had to be perfected. Don't worry, leave it to us. The Origin Realm experts of the World Turtle Clan and the other experts who were proficient in formations left in a flash. The rest of you, use the next period of time to familiarize yourself with the various formations. I'm afraid that we will face a great battle soon. Fei Huang said. Yes. Everyone nodded. Aunt Fei Huang, we can't give up on the human king's heart. We have to send people to search for it. Tang Jian suggested. You're right. The human king's heart is the key to everything. We must send people to search for it secretly in the ruins of the universe. Fei Huang nodded and then arranged everything in an orderly manner. Dharma King Chenkuan and the Dark Sky Religion Master were overlords of the primitive universe, but they had no objections to Fei Huang's orders. Very soon, everything was arranged. Lu Ming, put away the sovereign personage's physical body first. Fei Huang said. Senior Fei Huang, how about I leave the sovereign personage's physical body with you for now? Lu Ming said. Fei Huang was slightly taken aback. Then she smiled and said, You are quite cunning. All right, I will keep the human king's body for you. After Fei Huang finished speaking, she waved her hand and put away the human monarch's body. Lu Ming naturally had his reasons for doing so. Firstly, his cultivation was too low. A treasure like the body of a human king was not safe for him. If he had it with Fei Huang, it would be absolutely safe. Secondly, the human king's body was a hot potato. If he carried it with him, the people of the Heavenly Palace would definitely keep a close eye on him. It could be said that carrying the human king's body was very dangerous. With his cultivation, there was no way he could handle it. Placing it on Fei Huang was the best choice, whether it was for him or for the human king's body. With so many people watching, he believed that the news that the human king's body was not with him would spread very quickly. Then, the people present dispersed and began to make arrangements. Not long after, rumble. In the Heaven Destroyer's base, dozens of continents began to rumble. This was because dozens of continents began to move. The existence of the Origin Realm took action, pushing dozens of continents into the depths of the universe ruins. The Heaven Destroyer had a total of 3 bases in the universe ruins. The other 2 were in the depths of the universe ruins. The base that Lu Ming often stayed in was in the periphery of the universe ruins. Now, it was flying into the depths of the universe ruins to meet up with another base. Most people had missions, but Lu Ming did not. Lu Ming was in a period of rapid improvement. Fei Huang's main mission for Lu Ming was to cultivate and increase his cultivation. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. In this half a month, Lu Ming had been trying to cultivate, but the results were minimal. This was because his heart was in a mess. As long as he cultivated, he would think of Yi Wuxia and his defeat in the battle. Ever since he embarked on the path of cultivation, it was the first time he had been defeated in a battle of the same level. Moreover, the difference in strength between the two of them was still very large. This was a huge blow to him. His belief of being invincible was severely impacted. He found it difficult to calm down. Why is Yi Immortal so powerful? He's much stronger than Yi Qiuxian, especially his ultimate move. It's too powerful, far surpassing my Sky Splitter and Desolation style. This thought constantly crossed Lu Ming's mind. The Sky Splitter and Desolation style were created by him based on more than 1,800 ancient secret techniques and tens of thousands of ordinary secret techniques. They were extremely powerful and were most suitable for him to use. They were far stronger than other secret techniques. However, compared to Yi Immortal's ultimate move, the difference was still very large. To think that such a terrifying genius would appear in the heavenly human tribe. Lu Ming, victory and defeat are commonplace in battle. You don't have to take a loss to heart and delay your cultivation. The more you suffer, the stronger you become. Only then can you reach the peak. Lu Ming consoled himself. Unfortunately, he still found it difficult to calm down. He felt a little lost. He couldn't find a way to defeat Yi Immortal. Even if he continued to cultivate and improve his cultivation, Yi Immortal would also improve. If they fought at the same level, he still wouldn't be a match for Yi Immortal. Lu Ming sighed and ended his cultivation. He stepped out and walked in the sky. Finally, he landed on a mountain peak and sat on the edge of a cliff. He took out a bottle of wine and drank. Not long after, a ray of light flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught it. It was a voice transmission jade talisman. Senior Fei Huang is looking for me? Lu Ming was slightly taken aback. Then he got up and walked towards Fei Huang's residence. At Fei Huang's residence, he met her. Sit. Fei Huang sat beside a stone table. She waved her hand and gestured for Lu Ming to take a seat. Lu Ming sat down. Have some tea. Fei Huang smiled and poured a cup of tea for Lu Ming. Lu Ming picked up the teacup and took a sip. He immediately felt a refreshing feeling spread throughout his body and even into his soul. It calmed his agitated heart down. Good tea. Lu Ming couldn't help but praise. Lu Ming, have you been feeling upset recently and it's hard for you to cultivate? Fei Huang also picked up the teacup and took a sip. Then she smiled. Senior, you found out. Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. Is it because you were defeated by Yi Immortal? Fei Huang asked. That's right. Yi Immortal is too strong. I can't find a way to defeat him at the same level. Lu Ming didn't hide the truth and told her the truth. Chapter 47:13. Fei Huang grinned at Lu Ming and said, It's normal for you to be defeated by him. Lu Ming was speechless. Fei Huang had called him here specifically to deal him a blow. Someone recorded your battle with Yi Immortal using a shadow stone. I've also seen it and I've already guessed the Yi Immortal's true identity. Fei Huang said, The Yi Immortal's true identity? He has another identity? Lu Ming was taken aback. Of course, because the Yi Immortal's ultimate move was a Genesis technique. You may not have a deep understanding of Genesis techniques, so I'll explain it to you first. Once a cultivator breaks through to the origin realm, they will condense an origin root and control origin energy. Of course, the origin energy that everyone controls is slightly different. Genesis techniques are secret techniques that cultivators create based on their own origin energy. Fei Huang explained. So that's how it is. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Lu Ming had always been curious about what kind of secret techniques cultivators could use after reaching the origin realm. This was because, regardless of whether it was an ancient secret technique or an origin secret technique comprehended from the divine power of origin, once one reached the divine master realm, they would be cultivated to the peak. Origin's secret techniques comprehended from origin divine force were originally bound by shackles, but at the peak of the divine master realm, these shackles would basically be severed. The power of the secret technique would reach its peak and could no longer be increased. These secret techniques were not very useful to origin realm existences. As it turned out, origin realm existences could comprehend their own Genesis techniques based on the origin energy they controlled. Genesis techniques cannot be passed down. They are completely created based on one's own origin energy. Even if you teach them to others, they won't be able to learn them. Every living being's Genesis technique is unique. Therefore, when Yi Immortal used his Genesis technique, I was able to determine his true identity with a single glance. Fei Huang continued to explain. Lu Ming didn't say anything, waiting for Fei Huang to continue. Yi Immortal's true identity is the first person in the history of the heavenly human tribe to have mastered the perfect power of the heavens. He is also known as the most powerful person in the history of the heavenly human tribe. Fei Huang said seriously. What? Lu Ming's heart shook violently. This was really beyond his expectations. He never expected that the Yi Immortal would have such a status. That's not right. I don't know how old the first ancestor in the history of the heavenly human race who controlled the perfect power of heaven was, but Yi Wuxia looks very young. According to his life origin aura, he is at most a few 100,000 years old. Could it be that he is also a reincarnation? As he spoke, Lu Ming suddenly thought of something and exclaimed in shock. Since Tang Jun and Xian Yanqing could be reincarnated, it was normal for others to be able to do so as well. From the current situation, that is indeed the case. I really didn't expect that the heavenly human tribe would also obtain a little reincarnation power and that he would succeed, Fei Huang said in a low voice. Her eyes were filled with surprise, which showed that her heart wasn't very calm either. No wonder that guy has such exquisite control over his power. He didn't waste a single bit of it. Even after a great battle with me, he didn't use up too much of his power and maintained his powerful battle strength. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. That's why I said that it's normal for you to be defeated by Yi Immortal. He can't be considered as someone of the same generation as you. He has lived for countless years and his battle experience, control over his power, and use of the perfect power of the heavens have all reached the pinnacle. He's far from someone Yi Qiuxian can compare to. He relied on his experience to be able to use Genesis techniques at the first layer of the Divine Master Realm. Genesis techniques are too powerful, so it's normal that you can't withstand them. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming nodded, finally regaining some confidence. The person who had defeated him wasn't someone of the same generation as him, but an old monster who had lived for countless years. If he had lived for so many years, he definitely wouldn't have lost to his opponent. So you don't have to be discouraged. Yi Immortal only has an advantage in terms of Genesis techniques. Once your cultivation reaches the origin realm and you comprehend your own Genesis techniques, you may not necessarily lose to him in a battle of the same level. Fei Huang said. Just that I won't lose to him? Lu Ming muttered. This wasn't what he wanted. What he wanted was to defeat Yi Immortal. It's not impossible for you to defeat him in a battle of the same level. Taboo power has endless potential. Your potential is still far from being unleashed to the limit. Fei Huang said. Elder, please enlighten me. Lu Ming clasped his fists together. Those who are closely involved can't see clearly. It's actually very simple. The more secret techniques you fuse into your taboo power, the stronger it will be. If you can fuse more secret techniques into your taboo power, the more powerful it will become. Won't it be normal for you to defeat Yi Immortal in a battle of the same level in the future? Fei Huang said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He bowed and clasped his fists together. Thank you for your guidance, Elder. Looks like you've already understood. Go. Fei Huang waved her hand. Lu Ming picked up the teacup and finished it in one gulp. He then stepped into the air and left, returning to his residence. His conversation with Fei Huang had completely unraveled the knot in his heart. He was filled with fighting spirit once more. It's very difficult to increase my cultivation. I lack primal crystals. Even if I refine all the master-tier divine herbs on me, it'll be difficult for me to break through. Why don't I increase the potential of my taboo power first? Also, my battle symbol technique hasn't reached the peak yet. Once it reaches the peak, I should be able to increase my battle prowess by 9 times. It's only 8 times now. Once I reach the peak, I'll be able to fight Yi Immortal even if I haven't reached the origin realm or comprehended a Genesis technique. Lu Ming's eyes grew brighter and brighter. It was not that he could not increase his cultivation. He still had a lot of potential. It was just that he had been blinded by his previous failures and failed to see it. The more secret techniques I fuse with my taboo power, the more powerful it will be. The effects of fusing with ancient secret techniques are the best. I've already fused with over 1,800 ancient secret techniques. It's just too difficult to find other ancient secret techniques. Many of them have already been lost, but I have the Primal God Rock. In the past, the master of the Primal Divine Court was able to comprehend 3,000 ancient secret techniques from the Primal God Rock. If he can do it, so can I. I'll comprehend the secret techniques from the Primal God Rock and fuse them with my taboo power. After thinking it through, Lu Ming stood up and headed off in a certain direction. If he wanted to comprehend powerful secret techniques from the Primal God Rock faster, he would need to rely on external help. The Heaven Destroyer encampment had a sacred cultivation ground. The Primal God sound reverberated throughout the year, helping people comprehend the Tao. With Lu Ming's status, he obviously could enter for free. He could cultivate for as long as he wanted. Lu Ming arrived in a valley. The Primal God sound constantly reverberated through the valley. As soon as he arrived, Lu Ming's mind entered a state of emptiness. It's similar to the Primal God sound in the Heavenly Palace. Lu Ming smiled. He found a place to sit down before connecting with the Primal God Rock in his sea of consciousness. Chapter 47:14. With the help of the primordial godly sound, Lu Ming's mind entered an ethereal state. This was the state where one's comprehension was at its highest. At the same time, his glabella shone. In his sea of consciousness, the primordial godly stone emitted a radiance. On it, patterns constantly appeared. Each pattern was different and ever-changing. Lu Ming could gain inspiration from the primordial godly stone at all times. Before this, Lu Ming had already mastered more than 1,800 primordial secret techniques and tens of thousands of ordinary secret techniques. In addition, he had also comprehended 2 secret techniques that belonged to him. Therefore, Lu Ming continued to comprehend the secret skill. It was a walk in the park. He did not need to comprehend secret techniques that belonged to him completely. He only needed to extend the primordial secret techniques that he had mastered in the past. From there, he could comprehend some secret techniques that were similar to the primordial secret techniques. Their level was about the same as the primordial secret techniques, and their difficulty was much lower than the primordial secret techniques and primordial secret techniques. Time passed day by day. The inspiration that gathered in Lu Ming's mind also increased. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. After 10 years, Lu Ming finally succeeded in comprehending a secret technique that was similar to the primordial secret technique. This secret technique was somewhat similar to one of the primordial secret techniques that Lu Ming had mastered. However, there were some differences. It was a secret technique that was used to trap enemies. Lu Ming did not know if there was such a secret technique among the 3,000 primordial secret techniques. Perhaps, this secret technique was different from the 3,000 primordial secret techniques. In any case, Lu Ming succeeded. He transformed this secret technique into a secret technique rune and integrated it into a cell. Then, Lu Ming continued to comprehend the next secret technique. Comprehending the first secret technique was the most difficult and time-consuming. When it came to comprehending the second secret technique, the difficulty was significantly reduced. The time required was also significantly reduced. In just 9 years, Lu Ming had comprehended the second secret technique that was similar to the primordial secret technique. Similarly, he transformed it into a secret technique rune and integrated it into a cell. Almost 20 years had passed since the battle for the human monarch's body. To the surprise of the Heaven Destroyer, the Heavenly Palace did not launch an attack. For the past few years, the Heavenly Palace had been unusually quiet. However, no one dared to be careless. Everyone understood that this was perhaps the calm before the storm. The Heavenly Palace would never give up on the human king's body. They were accumulating strength. Once they made their move, it would be a thunderous blow. The Sky Exterminating Troop had sent many people to the primitive universe to spy on the movements of the Heavenly Palace. There were thousands of races in the Chaos Universe. Heaven Destroyer had sent some people to mingle in the Chaos Universe. It would be difficult for the Heavenly Palace to discover them, but it was more than enough for them to gather some information. In addition, the 3 bases of the Heaven Destroyer had joined together. The 3 garrisons and over 100 continent fragments were arranged in a mysterious manner, vaguely forming a formation. In addition, the World Turtle and some other experts who were proficient in formations were constantly repairing and perfecting the formations around the garrisons. The other experts were familiar with these formations. If the Heavenly Palace attacked, they could activate the formations at any time to meet the enemy. As for the beings below the Almighty level, they gathered together to cultivate the combined attack formation. During a battle, they could form the combined attack formation to increase their power. As for those above the Almighty level, they could not cultivate the combined attack formation. This was because there was no such powerful combined attack formation for the Almighty level to cultivate. The Almighty level was too powerful. If they wanted to set up a combined attack formation, they would need an extremely high-level formation. Low-level formations were useless. Once the Almighty level erupted with their power, the low-level formations would not be able to stabilize and would collapse directly. That would only hinder them and make it difficult for them to use their full strength. There were no formations of such a high level in the current desolate universe. Many people speculated that there must have been formations of such a high level on the desolate continent in the last aeon, where they could be cast down by godlords or even reciprocity experts. Unfortunately, there were no records of such formations in the records excavated from the universe ruins. Therefore, in the world of rings, the Heaven Destroyer could only gather together to fight against the encirclement of the Heavenly Palace's almighty level. They did not set up a combined attack formation. Similarly, the Heavenly Palace did not have a combined attack formation for the almighty level to set up. The Heavenly Palace's 9 heavens battle formation could only be set up by the almighty level. If the almighty level wanted to set up the formation, it would collapse instead. At the same time, the Heaven Destroyer summoned all the experts from other places. For example, in the universe ruins and places like the 1,000-year battlefield, the Heaven Destroyer and the Heavenly Palace's experts were facing off. They were all summoned back. The Heaven Destroyer wanted to gather all its forces to fight against the Heavenly Palace's revenge. However, as time passed, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, 70 years, 100 years, 100 years had passed since the battle for the human king's body. There was still no movement from the Heavenly Palace. This made many people in the Heaven Destroyer confused. Why was the Heavenly Palace so calm and not making a move? The Heavenly Palace is scarier if they don't make a move. They must be plotting something. We can't let our guard down. We have to strengthen our defense. Fei Huang said. The Heaven Destroyer did not relax and strengthened its defense. At the same time, those people in the universe were constantly monitoring the Heavenly Palace's movements. They did not relax at all. In these years, the atmosphere of the various races in the universe was obviously not right. They all became nervous as if they expected a great battle to come. All the races were preparing, hoping to obtain the greatest benefits for themselves in the battle. In addition, some people in the Heaven Destroyer were scattered in the universe ruins, looking for the human king's heart. However, there was no news. The universe ruins were too big. Finding the human king's heart was harder than finding a needle in a haystack. Naturally, it was not that easy to find it. In such a tense atmosphere, time continued to pass. 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. Soon, 300 years had passed since the battle for the human king's body. It was worth mentioning that in these 300 years, there had been a huge change in the universe, attracting the attention of all the races in the universe. In the universe ruins, the laws and profound meanings were originally in chaos. There was dead silence everywhere. Most of the continents had no living creatures or plants. There were very, very few continental fragments with plants. Only those that contained great desolate crystals could give birth to plants. It was only in the last few decades that the laws and profound meanings in the universe ruins slowly became more orderly. Only then did the universe ruins regain a trace of vitality. Some continents not only had plants, but also gave birth to living creatures and races. For example, the Yen clan in the Stellar Sky continent. However, such examples were rare after all. The entire universe's ruins were still deathly still. However, all of this had undergone a huge change in the past few hundred years. The laws and profound meanings in the universe ruins were becoming more orderly at an astonishing speed. It was no longer so chaotic. Many continents did not contain chaos crystals, but plants grew on them. On some continents, animals gradually appeared. The number of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, as well as all kinds of divine medicines, gradually increased. Chapter 47:15. What was even more shocking was that the Eldritch universe was also undergoing shocking changes. The divine chi in the Eldritch universe became denser and denser. Another kind of energy even appeared, like diluted Eldritch chi. Not long after, news spread from one of the top 10 races that an emperor-level divine herb in their herb garden was transforming. After a while, it became a main divine herb. This news shocked countless races in the Eldritch universe. In the past, the Eldritch universe could not produce main divine herbs. Emperor-level divine herbs were the peak. They could only find main divine herbs in the ruins of the universe. But now, a main divine herb had appeared in the Eldritch universe. What did this mean? The world was changing. The entire universe, whether it was the ruins of the universe or the boundless starry sky of the Eldritch universe, was changing drastically. In short, the cultivation environment had become even better. The beginning of all these changes seemed to have happened after the battle for the human king's body. In the universe, countless people were shocked, doubtful, and cheering. Was the entire universe going to recreate the glory of the Eldritch universe in the previous era? In the illusory heavenly palace, at the entrance to the dark universe, the Yi Immortals stood on the city wall and looked at the land occupied by the demons. The four masters of the heavenly palace stood on either side of the Yi Immortal. It's been 300 years. How's the effect of the demon ancestor insect's corrosion? The Yi Immortal asked. The demon ancestor insect was cultivated from the flesh of the demon ancestors. It's extremely small, 1 billion times smaller than a strand of hair. It can't be seen with the naked eye, but as it spreads through the air, even the origin realm demons will be affected unknowingly. It's been 300 years. Most of the demon masters have been controlled. Even the origin realm demons are probably affected. The master of the illusory heavenly palace answered. We can't wait any longer. It's been 300 years. If the Heaven Destroyer finds the heart of the human king's body, we'll be defeated. Pass down my order. Send an army to attack the demons' territory. Test them and see what the results are. The Yi Immortal ordered. Very soon, an army of the heavenly palace set off. They killed their way into the depths of the dark universe and the demon kingdom. Wherever they passed, there was no resistance at all, because almost all of the demons were controlled by the heavenly palace and surrendered right away. The army of the heavenly palace had broken through many demonic kingdoms before they were met with resistance. An origin realm fiend charged out. Reciprocity fiends were extremely huge. They stood hundreds of millions of meters tall and stood tall. Their huge wings were unfurled, blotting out the sun. One of the heavenly palace's origins went up and clashed with the demonic origin. The demonic origin was sent flying, and one of its wings was almost torn off. With just a single move, the evil demon origin was completely defeated. Despicable heavenly human tribe, what have you done? What exactly is corroding me? The fiend origin roared. Clearly, there was something wrong with his condition. He was resisting something with all his might, and his strength was less than half of his usual. Kill! The heavenly palace's origin roared and charged over. His attacks were wild. The demonic origin barely managed to block more than 10 moves before he was killed by the heavenly palace's origin. Not even a trace of origin imprint was left behind. The demon ancestor insect is effective. Even the demonic origin is greatly affected. His battle prowess is greatly reduced. The primordial chaos heaven master was overjoyed. Immortal young master, should we send out an army to destroy the demons in one go? The primordial chaos heaven master asked. No. Since the demon ancestor insect is effective, we should keep the demons alive. They can become a sharp blade for us in the future. The immortal young master smiled. Young master is wise. The other primordial chaos heaven masters of the heavenly palace flattered him. Indeed, since the demons could be controlled by them, it was better to keep them alive than to kill them. They could become their hired thugs and fight for them. Right now, the human king's body is the most important thing. 300 years have already passed. We can't wait any longer. The demons can no longer attack us. Pass down the order. As long as we leave a few people to guard the dark universe, the rest will go out and wipe out the rebels. The Yi Immortal's order was unquestionable. Yes. The four heavenly masters obeyed the order. The heavenly palace's army retreated, leaving only a few people to guard the dark universe. The demon ancestor insect was extremely small, but it spread through the air. After 300 years, most of the demons in the dark universe had been corroded by the demon ancestor insect. The demons were no longer a threat to the heavenly palace. This was the result of countless years of research by the heavenly palace. Ever since the confrontation with the demons, they had begun their research. After countless years, they finally succeeded. The people of the heavenly human tribe were extremely excited. The great enemy, the demons, had finally been dealt with. They no longer had to invest a large number of experts in the dark universe. From now on, which force in the universe could be a match for the heavenly human tribe? The heavenly court and the archaic divine court could not withstand a single blow. The Heaven Destroyer was destined to follow in the footsteps of the Heavenly Court and the archaic Divine Court. The Heavenly Palace mobilized most of the Origin Realm experts to attack the Heaven Destroyer's base through the wormhole. The Heaven Destroyer naturally did not know that the demons had been dealt with by the Heavenly Palace. However, they did not dare to relax. They were constantly on guard and ready for battle. After 300 years of cultivation, Lu Ming had also made great progress. In 300 years, Lu Ming had comprehended 300 secret techniques that were similar to the archaic secret techniques. They all turned into runes and fused into his cells. With the addition of 100 powerful secret techniques, the forbidden body had also improved by quite a bit. It was slightly more powerful than before. Of course, Lu Ming had not only comprehended secret techniques in the past 300 years. He had also spent time comprehending the battle formula. Lu Ming could unleash 8 times his battle prowess as he wished. 9 times his battle prowess had a success rate of a few tenths. It's not enough. It's far from enough. The success rate of 9 times my battle prowess is only a few tenths. It's too low. No one will give me the time to trigger it. Besides, even if I trigger 9 times my battle prowess, I might not be a match for the Yi Immortal. Lu Ming murmured to himself. The Yi Immortal's origin technique was just too powerful. However, when Lu Ming triggered 9 times his battle prowess, the increase in his strength was not that exaggerated. In the Divine Master realm, doubling one's battle prowess would not result in an obvious increase. Usually, a difference in cultivation level would be more than double. Therefore, even if Lu Ming triggered 9 times his battle prowess, he would probably not be a match for the Yi Immortal. He had to continue comprehending secret techniques and strengthen the forbidden body. The forbidden body was the foundation. Moreover, the battle formula's effect was closely related to his personal strength. The stronger his personal strength, the more the battle formula would increase. For example, if his personal strength was 1, triggering 9 times his battle prowess would be 9. If his personal strength was 2, triggering 9 times his battle prowess would be 18. Chapter 47:16. In the past 300 years, Lu Ming had not made any breakthroughs in his cultivation, remaining at the 6th layer of the God Lord realm. At the God Lord realm, if one did not refine primal crystals or main-level divine medicines and cultivate it on their own, it would be very difficult for one's cultivation to increase. This was mainly because the energy in space was too thin, unlike the primal desolate continent of the last epoch. However, while Lu Ming's cultivation had not increased, Qiuqiu's had increased by an extremely large amount. In the past few years, Lu Ming had given Qiuqiu all the damaged source-grade divine weapons he had on him, as well as many precious metals, such as icy fire star silver. Qiuqiu had broken through 2 levels in a row, reaching the 7th layer of the God Lord realm. This was also the reason why Lu Ming lacked damaged source-grade divine weapons. Otherwise, Qiuqiu's cultivation would have been even stronger. Qiuqiu, at the 7th layer of the God Lord realm, had devoured many damaged source-grade divine weapons and possessed some of their mysteries, making it extremely powerful. In a one-on-one fight, Lu Ming might not be its opponent. At the very least, when Qiuqiu turned into armor, Lu Ming could not break through its defenses. Thump, thump, thump. At this moment, the fierce beating of war drums resounded through the world. The heavens and earth buzzed, shaking the entire base of the Heaven Destroyer. At this moment, everyone was roused from their stupor. The war drums are constantly beating. The war is coming. Has the Heavenly Palace finally taken action? Lu Ming muttered. He ended his cultivation and left the valley, shooting into the sky. Formation rise. A deep voice resounded through the world. It was a reciprocity expert giving the order. Bizizi, Bizizi, Bizizi. In the encampment of the sky exterminating troop, the hundreds of fragments of the continent all emitted dazzling rays of light. Endless runes filled the void and gathered to form a large formation, enveloping the encampment of the sky exterminating troop. Countless experts were presiding over these formations. At the same time, countless figures soared into the sky from the continents, gazing outside. A massive spatial fissure had appeared in the air outside the base of the Heaven Destroyer. Numerous figures were walking out of the spatial cracks one after another. The first to come out were obviously the 4 heavenly masters of the heavenly palace. They stood in a row in the void, looking at the Heaven Destroyer base from afar. Their eyes flickered with a cold luster and anticipation. The Heaven Destroyer, the opponent they had been fighting for dozens of stellar years, was finally going to be destroyed today. Figures constantly emerged from the spatial crack, lining up behind the 4 heaven masters. They were all reciprocity experts. Your plan is pretty good. However, today's outcome has already been decided. You will not be able to escape the fate of destruction. Heavenly Lord Crepe Myrtle was the first to speak. His cold voice echoed across the void and into the base of the Heaven Destroyer. If the Heavenly Palace could do it, why wait until now? Fei Huang replied coldly. A few reciprocity experts stood around Fei Huang as well. As for the other Heaven Destroyer origins, they were scattered all over the place to maintain the array formation. Really? Fei Huang, your confidence will soon be shattered. Heavenly Lord Crepe Myrtle sneered. Very quickly, Fei Huang's face sank, and a bewildered expression appeared on her face. In reality, most of the experts of the Heaven Destroyer were like this. Their faces became uglier and uglier. This was because the experts of the Heavenly Palace who walked out from behind the 4 Heaven Masters were increasing in number. 50, 60, 70. Very soon, there were more than 100. They were all existences at reciprocity. The Heavenly Palace had actually mobilized more than 100 reciprocity experts. It was clearly more than that because the number was constantly increasing. In less than a minute, a total of 150 reciprocity experts had appeared behind the 4 Heaven Masters. Including the 4 Heaven Masters, there were a total of 150. They were all reciprocity experts. Most of them were from the celestial race. There were also experts from other races, such as the angels, the Buddhas, the demons, the blood race, the battle saint tribe, and so on. Apart from the quasi-saint tribe, almost all the reciprocity experts of the top 10 races had been mobilized. How is this possible? This is almost all the reciprocity experts of the Heavenly Palace. How can they all be mobilized? Don't they need to guard the Dark Universe? Aren't they afraid of the demons' attacks? Tang Jun had appeared beside Lu Ming at some point in time. His face was full of shock and disbelief. 150 reciprocity experts. Lu Ming gasped a breath of cold air. The strength of the Heavenly Palace was truly unfathomable. Normally, it was not easy to see one reciprocity expert. Now, 150 had appeared in one go. It was simply terrifying. Tang Jun, how many reciprocity experts do we have in the Heaven Destroyer? Lu Ming asked. I only have a rough idea. There should be 49 of them in the reciprocity realm. Tang Jun said. Lu Ming's face was extremely ugly. 49 people was too far away from the Heavenly Palace. They had 3 times more reciprocity experts than them. Once they break through to the reciprocity realm, other races, be it primitive gods or humans, will be a little stronger than the heavenly humans. In the past, the Heavenly Palace had to allocate most of their strength to guard the Dark Universe and stop the demons. The remaining experts, the Heaven Destroyer, could barely resist them. But now, why? Tang Jun's face was very ugly. Lu Ming knew what Tang Jun wanted to say. Why did they bring out all the reciprocity experts guarding the Dark Universe? Not only were they puzzled, but Fei Huang and the other reciprocity experts were also very puzzled. Had something happened in the Dark Universe? Had the demons been destroyed? That was impossible. They knew how terrifying the demons were. The demons were very powerful and unfathomable. If it were not for the fact that the demons were not united and were in a state of division, often killing each other, most of the Heavenly Palace's strength might not have been able to stop the demons' attack. How could such powerful demons be destroyed so easily? Had the Heavenly Palace cooperated with the demons? That was also impossible. Fei Huang and the others knew a lot. The demons and the heavenly human race were mortal enemies that could not be resolved. They knew that something must have happened in the Dark Universe that they did not know about. But they could not care so much now. Stopping the Heavenly Palace's attack was the most important thing. Fei Huang, let's see what you can do. A heavenly lord ordered. Boom, boom, boom. The 150 reciprocity experts of the heavenly palace erupted with powerful auras. They spread out and formed a circle, surrounding the Heaven Destroyer's base. Then, 150 attacks bombarded the Heaven Destroyer's base. Formation rise. Activate the formation. Loud roars rang out from the Heaven Destroyer. Dazzling light illuminated an endless distance. Numerous formations intertwined together, forming a huge defensive formation. These formations were controlled by dozens of reciprocity experts and thousands of divine lords. They were extremely powerful. Boom, 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 boom. The defensive barrier formed by the formation was struck by the 150 terrifying attacks and shook violently. But it still managed to block them in the end. Chapter 47:17. Continue to attack. They only have around 40 origins, so their energy is limited. As long as we continue to attack, the energy of their formation will be depleted sooner or later. At that time, it will be the time of their deaths. A heavenly lord yelled. The 150 heavenly palace origins continued to attack. Terrifying attacks flew towards the Heaven Destroyer's base. With so many reciprocity experts working together, it was just too shocking. If they were in the desolate universe, they would be able to destroy galaxies one after another. Entire star regions would be destroyed. The area within 100 million kilometers of the Heaven Destroyer's base was completely destroyed. Nothing was left. Everything had been reduced to chaos. This battle could be said to be the most intense in countless years. It was also the battle that involved the most experts. 60 stellar years ago, an unprecedented war had broken out. That battle was extremely tragic. However, the Heavenly Palace had not mobilized so many origins. This was because the Heavenly Palace needed to guard against the demons at that time, so they could not mobilize so many origins. It could be said that the battle involving so many origins could be traced back to the battle between the Heavenly Palace and the primordial gods. Boom, 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 boom. The Heaven Destroyer's defensive formation constantly shook. At this moment, Fei Huang and the others participated in controlling the formation. Lu Ming and Tang Jun also came to the base of the formation and strengthened it together. However, many people's hearts sank. There were just too many origins in the Heavenly Palace. If this continued, the Heaven Destroyer's formation would definitely not be able to withstand it. It was only a matter of time before it was broken. Once the formation was broken, the Heaven Destroyer's side would have no chance of victory against the 150 origins. Most of them would die. The difference was just too great. However, there was nothing they could do. The only thing they could do now was to resist with all their might. Attack in batches and exhaust their strength. A heavenly lord said. Afterward, half of the Heavenly Palace's origins retreated and began to recover their strength. The other half continued to attack. In this way, although the intensity of the attack was much lower, the people of Heaven Destroyers still couldn't be careless. They still had to urge the formation to resist with all their might. After a period of time, the Heavenly Palace switched out a group of people, and the other group retreated to recover. They took turns attacking the Heaven Destroyer in order to deplete its strength. Time passed by, second by second. Soon a day had passed. During that day, the reciprocity experts of the Heavenly Palace did not rest at all. They constantly attacked. At this time, the light of the Heaven Destroyer base's array formation had dimmed a lot, and the strength of the array formation was not as strong as before. At this time, more figures appeared outside the Heaven Destroyer's base. They were Yi Immortal, Yi Qiuxian, and some of the Lord of Heaven from the Heavenly Palace. These people stood and watched from afar. It seems like the Heaven Destroyer will be destroyed soon. Once the Heaven Destroyer is destroyed and the demons are under our control, our heavenly human race will have no opponents. We will dominate the universe forever. Yi Qiuxian seemed very excited. Don't be happy too early. Dealing with the demons and rebels only gave us the upper hand. The crisis is far from over, Yi Immortal said coldly. What? Yi Qiuxian and the other Lord of Heaven looked at each other. What did this mean? Old ancestor, what do you mean? What crisis do we have after dealing with the demons and rebels? Who can be a match for our heavenly human race? Could it be the quasi-immortal race? Do they have the ability to do so? Yi Qiuxin couldn't help but ask. The situation of the universe is more complicated than you can imagine. Now that the universe is undergoing great changes, the universe is recovering, and the great era is coming. A great era also means a great calamity. No one can stay out of it, Yi Immortal said. Then he stopped. Great calamity? What great calamity? Yi Qiuxin and the others asked in shock. Cultivate well. When your cultivation reaches a certain level, you will naturally know. In short, you must remember that our race can only survive this calamity by taking the initiative and obtaining more opportunities in the ruins of the universe and continuously increasing our strength. Once we survive this calamity, our race will truly soar into the sky and become the true masters of this universe. Yi Immortal sighed softly, seemingly unwilling to say more. Yi Qiuxin and the others looked at each other in confusion. At most 2 more days and the great array will be broken, Yi Immortal said softly. Ancestor, should we retreat a little further? Otherwise, the traitor's origin source will act in desperation. One of the Lord of Heaven said. During this period of time, the Yi Immortal's true identity had spread throughout the heavenly human race and even the other races. Therefore, everyone reverted to their previous form of address and addressed Yi Immortal as Old Ancestor. Yi Immortal didn't object. Don't worry. Those sources can't touch us. Yi Immortal said confidently. He looked at the void in the distance as if he could see through the universe and see a few old heavenly human race members standing in the void. No one else could see them except him. Tang Feng, Fei Huang, when are you going to make your move? Yi Immortal murmured. Only he could hear it. In the depths of the universe ruins, it was unknown how far away Heaven Destroyer's base was. This was a strange place. There were no fragments of continents within a boundless distance. This area was very far away and was completely in the depths of the universe ruins. One of the spaces was constantly twisting. Through the twisting space, one could see a strange color inside. This strange place didn't seem to belong to this world or this universe. It was covered by layers of space, appearing and disappearing from time to time. It was dreamy and illusory. It seemed to be illusory and real at the same time. It was between reality and illusion. Time didn't seem to exist in this place. Everything was still, but it was filled with terrifying energy. All kinds of energy were chaotic. Yin and Yang, the 5 elements, black and white, light and darkness. In such a place, there were 2 figures. These 2 figures were standing in the void. In front of them was an image. The content of the image was the scene of the experts of the Heavenly Palace attacking Heaven Destroyer's base. The 2 figures were a man and a woman. The man was handsome and had a valiant bearing. The woman was beautiful and peerless. If the people of Heaven Destroyer were here, they would definitely recognize them at a glance. The woman was Fei Huang. The man was the legend of the primitive universe, Tang Feng, the Forbidden Sword Ancestor. Tang Feng, if this continues, the base will be breached in less than 2 days. Fei Huang said with a frown. I didn't expect the Heavenly Palace to be able to mobilize the experts guarding the Dark Universe. What happened in the Dark Universe? Tang Feng whispered. He couldn't figure it out. Didn't you see a corner of the future? Didn't you see this? Fei Huang said. The future is too vague. It's hard to see it clearly. I only know that the demons will eventually become our greatest enemy. Tang Feng said. Chapter 47:18. Fei Huang frowned and then sighed. It's a pity that the 2 of us are trapped here and can't get out. Otherwise, we wouldn't be afraid of the celestial race. Tang Feng, do you have any ideas? You can't just watch. It's difficult for your real bodies to get out. The only thing we can do now is trigger the origin tribulation first. Tang Feng said. What? You have a way to trigger the origin tribulation first? Fei Huang's expression changed. I've already set it up outside. Originally, the origin tribulation would erupt on its own in about 100 stellar years. It's not difficult to trigger it in advance. Tang Feng said. Once the origin tribulation starts, all the existences in the origin realm or above in the entire universe will have to seal themselves to avoid the tribulation. Otherwise, their source root will dissipate and they may even die. If that's the case, the celestial palace's origin will have to seal itself and won't be able to do anything. Similarly, our origin will also have to seal itself. When that happens, all the origins in the universe won't be able to do anything. Divine masters are the pinnacle, but the number of divine masters in the celestial palace is far greater than ours. Do you want to use formations to block the people of the heavenly palace? Fei Huang asked several questions in a row. You're right. Formations. The current formations of the heaven-destroying army can't stop the attacks of reciprocity experts, but if it's just godlords, they can last for a very long time even if they operate on their own, Jianchen said. Tang Feng said, the encampment of the heaven-destroying army was covered in layers of formations. However, these formations were not of a very high level after all. They needed to be powered by reciprocity experts to block attacks from reciprocity experts. If there were no experts to activate them, the formations would not be able to withstand the attacks of Origin Realm experts. The fundamental reason was that the formations were not advanced enough. Most of the formations were incomplete, excavated from the ruins of the universe. However, if it was only divine masters, the formations in the Heaven Destroyer Station could withstand for a long time even if they operated on their own. Tang Feng's meaning was very simple. If he did not trigger the Origin Tribulation, the Heaven Destroyer's array formation would be broken in 2 days. If the Origin Tribulation was triggered, the Heaven Exterminating Army's formation would be able to hold on for a long time if both sides' existences above the Origin realm could not attack. With Fei Huang's intelligence and experience, she immediately understood. However, she was still worried about something. How long will the Origin Tribulation last for? Fei Huang asked. 10,000 years. It can only last for 10,000 years. After 10,000 years, the crisis will be over and reciprocity existences will be able to emerge, Jianchen sighed. Tang Feng said, 10,000 years. Then, how long can the Heaven Destroyer's array last? Fei Huang said, 8,000 years. Tang Feng replied, what will happen after 1,000 years? After 1,000 years, we can only rely on Lu Ming and the others. The young people of this generation are very impressive. After 1,000 years, I believe they will have grown a lot. At that time, they may be able to fight against the Heavenly Palace. As for us, we have 10,000 years. We should be able to leave. Although this place is full of danger, it also represents a great opportunity. If we can leave this place smoothly, we will definitely have a major breakthrough in our cultivation. Tang Feng said, this place is a dangerous place in the last era. Are you really confident that you can leave this place within 10,000 years? Fei Huang said, in this world, no one and no place can trap me, Tang Feng. Tang Feng said, his eyes were brighter than the stars. They were filled with invincible faith and endless confidence. You are really narcissistic. Fei Huang curled her lips. Well, I'm going to start. Tang Feng said. With a wave of his hand, the image in the air disappeared. Then, an incomparably terrifying aura soared from his body. His whole person seemed to have turned into an invincible divine sword, piercing through the endless void. His hands quickly formed a seal, and a shocking sword chi suddenly rushed out from a fragment of the continent very far away from him. Bang! The ground exploded, and a battle sword flew out from the depths of the ground. The sword chi rushed out endlessly, cutting the void hundreds of millions of li in half. Clang! The sound of the sword resounded through the world. Then, the battle sword flew rapidly toward the void above. The sword chi became bigger and longer, and its power became stronger and stronger. In the end, when the long sword flew out infinitely, the void was cut open, and a huge crack appeared, leading to an infinite distance. Then, in the depths of the crack, a strange and mysterious place appeared. Cosmic Sea, Fei Huang whispered, and there was some shock in her eyes. Originally, there were still about 100 stellar years before the great calamity of Origin would erupt, so Cosmic Sea is very close to our universe. Otherwise, even if my cultivation is 10 times or 100 times stronger, it would be impossible to trigger the great calamity of Origin. Tang Feng said and continued to control the battle sword, letting it fly into cosmic sea. Boom! As soon as the battle sword flew into cosmic sea, it exploded, forming a terrible energy storm that stirred up cosmic sea. At this moment, universe sea seemed to be boiling. Endless energy, mysterious energy, poured into the entire universe. At the same time, cosmic sea was rapidly approaching the universe. More and more mysterious energy poured in at an astonishing speed, and it covered the universe ruins and the universe's starry sky at an astonishing speed. At this moment, the stars were trembling, and the fragments of the land of infinity were trembling slightly. Ordinary people or ordinary cultivators were fine. They only felt a slight tremor, and it was over. However, the expressions of all the origin realm existences changed drastically. For example, the origins that were besieging Heaven Destroyer's base suddenly felt their origin roots throbbing wildly, as if there was an extremely powerful force that was trying to draw their origin roots out. Although they suppressed it with all their strength, their origin roots still turned into energy and flew out. If this continued, their origin roots would fly away completely and disappear completely. What's going on? What's going on? My origin root is shaking. It's turning into energy and flying away. The origins of the heavenly palace stopped attacking and suppressed their origin roots with all their strength. In fact, it was not only the origins of the heavenly palace. The origins of the Heaven Destroyer were the same. Their expressions changed drastically, and they could not care less about controlling the array and suppressed their origin roots with all their strength. Apart from the origins of the Heaven Destroyer and the heavenly palace, the origins of the other places in the universe were the same. For example, the origin realm experts of the quasi-immortal tribe were like the origins of the heavenly palace and the Heaven Destroyer. Their origin roots were about to fly out, and they hurriedly suppressed it in fright. It's the origin tribulation. Damn it, according to my deduction, the origin tribulation should only erupt in 100 stellar years. Why is it happening ahead of time? At this moment, ye Immortal roared. Origin tribulation. The expressions of some experts who had heard of the origin tribulation became very ugly. However, there were even more origin realm experts who had never heard of it and hurriedly asked. Chapter 47:19. When the cosmic sea is the closest to the universe, it will greatly affect the origin realm cultivators in the universe. If it's light, their origin roots will be sucked away, causing them to lose all their cultivation. If they die, they will die, ye Immortal explained quickly. This made the origin realm cultivators' faces become extremely ugly. Forefather, is there a way to resolve this? Someone asked. There is. The only way is to seal yourself and hide deep underground to resist the influence of the cosmic sea. However, after sealing yourself, you can't come out. Once you do, your origin roots will immediately be devoured. As a result, the era of the origin tribulation is known as the era without an origin. Normally speaking, there's still 100 stellar years before the origin tribulation. Why has it been brought forward? Has someone interfered with it? Ye Immortal asked with an extremely gloomy face. The era without an origin naturally referred to the era without an origin. Oh no, I can't hold on any longer. Forefather, what do? We can't attack the Heaven Destroyer like this. An origin realm cultivator from the heavenly palace roared. The energy of his origin root was constantly flowing away at a faster and faster rate. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before all of his origin roots disappeared. Retreat first, then seal your origin root. I'll think of a way to deal with the Heaven Destroyer. Ye Immortal said. He was well aware of the great tribulation of the origin force, as he had experienced it once, thus he was well aware of how terrifying it was. He had once personally witnessed an existence beyond the origin realm trying to resist the origin tribulation, only to die in the end. The origin tribulation originated from the cosmic sea. It was unstoppable and unstoppable. Only by sealing oneself and entering a long slumber could one avoid this tribulation. Let's go. Immediately, the origin realm cultivator from the heavenly palace did not linger at all. With a flash, he left, vanishing in the blink of an eye. I'll let you live for a few more days. Even without an origin, I'll still destroy you. Yi Wuxia looked at the heaven-exterminating army's encampment and said coldly. Then he left in a flash. No one above the origin realm can resist the origin tribulation. All of you, seal yourselves quickly and find a place to enter a long slumber. Wait for the origin tribulation to pass. The origin tribulation this time will last around 10,000 years. You can come out after 10,000 years. Fei Huang's voice rang through the entire Heaven Destroyer. All the reciprocity experts moved quickly. They left in a flash, searching for a place to seal themselves. This, Origin Realm cultivators below the Origin Realm were all stunned. They had never thought the Origin Realm cultivators. And what was the Origin Tribulation? The Reciprocity Calamity is a calamity for those above Reciprocity. It doesn't affect those below Reciprocity at all. Those above Reciprocity must seal themselves for 10,000 years. I'll leave the heaven-destroying army to you for the next 10,000 years. Remember, the danger is nowhere near over. The attack from the Heavenly Palace will arrive very soon, so it'll be up to you. Fei Huang's voice rang out once again. She was talking to the powerful divine masters. The Origin Tribulation. There's actually a tribulation like this? Lu Ming was surprised and doubtful. Because at this moment, the purple copper coffin in his sea of consciousness, which had been quiet all this time, suddenly moved. The coffin shone with resplendent light. Dense inscriptions appeared on it. In the end, the inscriptions formed a formation that enveloped the coffin. The originally ordinary purple copper coffin looked even more ordinary now. It sealed itself. Even the coffin sealed itself. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Swish. At this moment, Fei Huang appeared beside Lu Ming. Senior, Lu Ming opened his mouth. Lu Ming, the Origin Tribulation has descended. All existences above the Origin Realm will seal themselves and disappear from the world. During this period of time, the world will be dominated by divine masters. Whether the Heaven Destroyer can survive this crisis will depend on you. I hope you can rise quickly. With that, Fei Huang took out a storage ring and handed it to Lu Ming. She said, "There are 200 million desolation crystals in here. Tang Xiao, I, and the others have collected during this period of time. This is all we have for now. I hope it can help you. Although I'm not in my true form now, only the 10,000 demons avatar, I still need to seal myself. Otherwise, it will affect my true form. I hope you can surprise me when I come out. Also, Shaoqing, Qiuyu and the others are still cultivating outside. Here is the detailed location of their cultivation. I'm afraid that the Heavenly Palace will harm them later. You need to be careful." With that, Fei Huang handed a jade talisman to Lu Ming. Senior, Lu Ming accepted it. He wanted to say something, but he discovered that Fei Huang had already vanished. The Origin Realm experts of the Heavenly Palace and the Heaven Destroyer had all vanished. They had sealed themselves and entered eternal slumber. Whether it was the ruins of the universe, outer space, or the dark universe, no matter where the existences above the Origin Realm hid, they could not avoid the Origin Tribulation. There was only one way to avoid the Origin Tribulation, and that was to seal themselves and find a place to enter eternal slumber. Otherwise, the consequences would be very severe. In just a single day, there were no longer any Origin Realm experts in the entire universe. Tang Feng and Fei Huang stared at the distant space. At this moment, the crack that was cut open by Tang Feng had already disappeared. However, the Origin Tribulation had already begun. The cosmic sea was close to the universe, so the outcome could not be changed. We've succeeded. However, we've forcefully triggered it this time, so it can only last for 10,000 years. 10,000 years should be enough for them to grow, Fei Huang whispered. Let's cultivate as well. This place isn't completely without benefits. At the very least, this place won't be affected by the Origin Tribulation. We won't waste the next 10,000 years, Tang Feng said. With that, he turned around and took a step forward, disappearing without a trace. Lu Ming, Shaoqing, let's meet again 10,000 years later. Fei Huang also turned around and followed Tang Feng. After a short pause, the Heaven Destroyer's base began to operate normally again. At this moment, Tang Jun had already explained the Great Tribulation of Origins in detail. Most people understood the meaning of the Great Tribulation of Origins. Afterwards, under the arrangements of a few peak god lords, the Heaven Destroyer's base began to operate again. The formations shone with a dazzling light, continuing to envelop the Heaven Destroyer's base. Of course, without the support of the Origin Realm experts, the formations dimmed by a lot. However, overall, the Origin Tribulation this time was still more beneficial for the Heaven Destroyer. Originally, the Heaven Destroyer's base would not be able to withstand the 150 Origin Realm experts sent by the Heavenly Palace. It would be breached in 2 days at most. However, the Origin Tribulation had allowed them to avoid it. However, they were certain that the crisis was not over yet. The Origin Realm experts could not take action, but those below the Origin Realm could. The Heavenly Palace had more godlords than them. They believed that the godlord army from the Heavenly Palace would descend soon. The war was not over yet,